folks, the Filipina P here. And it's always a good idea to familiarize yourself with the laws of any country you plan to visit or live in. And if that country is the Philippines, sometimes the laws can be pretty surprising. Today I've got my good friend, Attorney Gracey Bellingan-Bennett, to explain a controversial law that keeps you from going to jail for killing your spouse and their lover, or even your daughter, if you catch them having sex and bringing dishonor to the family name. That sounds pretty shocking to me, and it means that if you're dating a Filipina, you better be sure she's not actually married or this could happen to you. Fortunately, we've got Gracey here to sort it all out. Hey Gracey, good morning. How are you?
Good morning, Tia. I'm good. How are you?
I'm great. Thank you so very much for being back on the show. I know you're very busy. You've got a lot of clients.
I always find time to schedule something like this with you.
I'm very honored. Our vivacious in-house attorneys always got time for the P. Thanks. All right, Gracey, I've read an interesting article. It's Article 247. So let me get this straight. I just heard that the Philippines allows honor killings. Is that true?
Oh, no. I think that is a misconception of 247 being considered as honor killing. 247 is a crime or death or physical injuries inflicted under exceptional circumstances. So we don't interpret it as honor killing, but it's a defense that can be used by husband who killed his wife or a parent who killed their daughter under the circumstances contemplated in this provision.
Oh, okay. So the parents can inflict serious physical injuries or killing the daughter. Why? I mean, what are the elements to qualify?
With respect to the parents are not are not permitted or not allowed to kill their daughter, of course. But in 247, if a parent, with respect to their daughter who is under 18 years of age, and the daughter is still living with them, and the parent caught their daughter in the act of sexual intercourse with a seducer or a man in their house, and out of the outburst emotion felt by the parent at that time upon seeing the daughter in the act of having sexual intercourse, the parent inflicted or killed the daughter and or the seducer, then the parent can avail of this provision, which exempt the parent from being imprisoned or from penalty of fine. The only penalty imposed under this provision is the penalty of destierro. Well, in layman's term, we don't actually consider this as a penalty at all, because you're only prohibited to be away from a certain radius where the victim is located. So we see it, if we compare it with imprisonment, destierro is not a penalty at all for us, right?
Okay, so destierro is like a restraining order. That's all?
Similar effect to a restraining order.
So let me get it straight. If I'm still with my parents, I'm 18 years old, and I was caught by my dad having sex in the house, or 18 years old.
Under the age of 18 years old, under 18.
Okay, so I'm under 18. So let's say I'm 17. I'm still living with my parents, and my dad caught me having sex in my room with a man, regardless of the age of the man. He accidentally killed me because he was so mad. So he can use this provision, this Article 247, to get a lesser punishment?
Correct, yeah. Yes. The justification of this provision is at the time our criminal code was enacted, which was in 1930s, daughters living in the custody of their parents are expected not to deviate from the norms of society and the morals of society. So having sexual intercourse when you're still a minor is something that is frowned upon by society. It's contemplated to cause dishonor or destroys the dignity of the family. So that's why if a parent, out of the outburst of his or her emotion, inflicted serious physical injuries, even killed the daughter and the person whom was having sexual intercourse with the daughter, then the parent is kinda justified under the provision in 247.
Okay. Oh, okay. Wow, I didn't know that we have such laws. Okay. So, in short, they'll be charged with murder, and then during the trial, the accused can use Article 247 as a defense because that's
Correct.
the reason why they did what they did. Okay, so I keep hearing daughters. What about sons? Does it
Oh, this does
apply?
not apply to sons. This does not apply if the parent caught their son in sexual intercourse, regardless of the age of the son.
Wow. Really?
Yeah, there seems to be quite a gender bias here, but let's take into consideration the fact that this law was enacted in 1930s. So women are expected to act according to the norms of society, to be moral all the time. So any deviation from that norm or from the morality, the perception of morality in the society, it's construed as what they call this giving dishonor to your family. But at this
Okay.
time, we have already a different perception, right? So that's not how we see it anymore this time.
Okay, well, after all, the women are the gatekeepers to the heavens. So maybe that was one of the reasons before. And yes, you're correct that the society at that time was very strict. And you know, we have this Dalagang Filipina, the Maria
Mm-hmm.
Clara.
Maria, correct.
My mom told me that she can't even hold hands with her boyfriend before because that's really, you know, frowned upon. They don't allow that, even just holding hands or even sitting next to each other.
That can bring dishonor to the husband or to the family of the woman. So
Well, we can just say good old times because look at the rates of, you know, teen mothers nowadays. So, Gracie, it says that defense is because you can't control your emotions. How can he prove that that was the case?
first of all, it's the burden of the accused to prove his defense under 247, to prove that it was out of outburst of emotion. For crimes like this, that let's say the paramour and the wife got killed and there's nobody else in the house, so they only the husband's testimony can prove what he did and what happened then. But remember, we have neighbors all around our place, right? There are marites who may be willing to testify what happened or the circumstances of what happened that day.
Well, for you guys out there that don't know what marites is, it's our term for chismosas or the human CCTV cameras. It's the neighbors, nosy neighbors in short. All right, so guys, before we proceed, let me just tell you that this might surprise or shock you. There is no jury system here in the Philippines. It is all cases are decided by a judge. So your fate, if you are committing a crime here, is gonna be decided by one person. Okay, so
Correct.
let's say he didn't kill the paramour or the wife. Let's say serious physical injuries. Can he also use this article?
If it's not that serious, the injury inflicted, let's say, is just bruises or just broken bone, which
Okay.
healed within a period less than 90 days, then
Okay,
fortunately
so
there's no fortunately there's no penalty.
Okay, so for instance, I have a husband. If I was caught doing some, sexual intercourse in our house and he was surprised and he didn't kill me, he just beat me, but not to death. What's the healing time, by the way? For if
90 days, 90 days.
so within if
That's
it's
3 months. Yeah.
3 months. So if my injuries can heal within 3 months, then that's considered slight injury.
And that's less serious physical injuries or slight physical injuries. So the penalty for your husband on that one would only be nothing. Would be nothing.
Oh my.
If the circumstances falls under 247, okay?
Okay, so if he can prove. So
Yeah.
even if he breaks my rib, but I can still walk and I can heal within 90 days, no punishment at all.
No punishment at all.
Holy smokes. What about the other way around? If I beat my husband because he was sleeping with our maid or something, or a woman that he met in the mall and brought to our house, and I was surprised, like, how could you? And then I got a baseball bat and then bash his head and he didn't die and he can still walk because the eyes are still intact. Will I be will I be prosecuted?
Under the same provision, it states here that any legally married person who having surprised his spouse in the act of committing sexual intercourse with another person shall kill any of them or both of them in the act or immediately thereafter, or shall inflict upon them any serious physical injury, shall suffer only the penalty of destierro.
Oh, so it's the same thing.
With a husband, if you're referring to RA 9262, which is violence against women and their children, there is no parallel law for men on that one.
Oh, if I was a lawmaker, I think I'll draft a similar law protecting men as well, because there are a lot of battered husbands as well. There's no support for battered husbands or boyfriends out there because obviously there's not a lot of cases being reported because they're men. I think they feel they should be tough and they don't. Sometimes police won't take it seriously if it's a man calling like, hey, my wife is beating me. I think this is similar to the West as well, but it is just, whereas if it's women, there's a lot of organizations for battered women or abused women. But for men, I think it's about time that we do something about it because after all, we like equal rights, right? I mean, for everyone, not just for women, not just for children. Because I know in our society, if you're a man and you're crying about being beaten by your wife, or what we call under the saya, it's like degrading, and that's why most of the time men suffering from depression or abuse, from any form of abuse from physical or mental or emotional, they just keep it to themselves. That's why the rate of suicides are higher for men than women.
I think it's timely for us to really revisit these provisions of our laws and perhaps also do similar protection on men that are also suffering the same kind of situation with women.
Yeah, because I know someone personally from our barangay that, yeah, the wife is really she's a beast, and the husband, I really feel bad for the husband because he's getting bruises, but they go to the barangay and just report it like it's just another argument between a husband and a wife, and they cannot do something about it. But I really feel bad for the guy. I mean, he's being beaten and no one's helping him. And also, I just wanna since we're talking about rights, if I was a lawmaker, I would make a law like it should be illegal for women asking for child support if it's not really the dad. And because there was this portion in Rafi Tulfo that this woman is asking child support from 4 different men. And the cases of paternity here, like who sometimes you wouldn't know that it's not really his kid and he's paying child support. That should be a crime for women claiming that you're the dad. And if I have the power, I'll set up a free DNA testing so that you'll know that it's your child, because there are cases that women are deceiving men, like this is your child, outside of the marriage, and then.
So first of all, the man should do the paternity testing before providing support to the child, if that is really his child.
Mm-hmm.
And second of all, you can file for estafa against this woman who deceived you, who takes advantage of your money and who claims something that it's not true. So that can be a ground for the crime of estafa or swindling.
I think that was the resolution that was provided by Rafi Tufo for that particular guy, because all four of them really thought that they were the dad of the kid. So meaning they have sexual intercourse in a span of what, weeks or maybe days? That's
Oh, it's a group sex.
it's an orgy.
It's a group sex. It's a four men, one woman.
I know.
Interesting.
Yeah, interesting. Okay, so since we were just talking about the husband caught his wife with another man, what about if she's with another woman? So let's say my husband caught me with another woman in bed naked.
Under 247 only mentions with another person. So regardless of whatever the gender of that person, as long as the act done was an act of sexual intercourse.
But what if it's a blow up toy? As long will it apply like killing the wife because she's having sex with a blow up toy? But you know what? This is really interesting because in our law, like adultery, or if I am a cheating wife and went with another girl, I won't be charged with adultery, right? Because it's another girl. It should be.
Because no, the provision under revised penal code on adultery specifically identify the other person to be a man for the case of adultery. So a woman who has sexual intercourse with another man. So the gender is specified there, but in 247, it doesn't specify the gender. It only mentions with another person. So it can either be a woman or a man.
Okay, and it's the same thing for a man, a cheating husband, going with the same sex.
Specify there that the paramour should be a woman.
Okay, should be a woman. So if I have a cheating husband and if he went with another man, I cannot charge him with concubinage because it's another man. And if I was
in the first place, you wouldn't want your man back if that would be the case. So
I know.
let him.
So Gracie, if my husband catches me with another woman and killed me, he can use the 247, Article 247. However, he cannot sue me for adultery because it's a woman, right?
That's correct. Yeah.
So
he can use the defense in 247 under 247, but he cannot file a case against you for adultery because you are with a woman.
Okay. Okay. This is so effed up. Okay, so if I am a gay man, all I have to do is marry a Filipina and I can cheat all I want to because she cannot sue me for concubinage because I like men. Okay,
Yeah.
so the wife cannot sue the husband because he's gay and having an affair with a man. But if I seduce my husband's paramour, my gay husband can sue me for adultery. And by the way, guys, this is applicable to both Filipino couples and mixed couples. All right, Gracie, obviously this law is antiquated, but have you seen people using this law as their defense?
Yeah, actually, during my law days, we've discussed a couple of cases that fall under 247, and I'm quite surprised. There's a number of cases that use this as a defense of inflicting injuries or killing their spouses when they caught them in the act of sexual intercourse with another person. So things
Wow.
like this are not rare in the Philippines.
All right, so Gracie, since this law is very outdated because you've mentioned it's from 1930s, is there a way for this to be repealed? Are the people outraged about this? Are we amending this?
There's already a committee doing the revision of this one. Actually, I've seen a draft of how our RPC would look like, but it's just a mere draft. So it's not official yet.
yeah, we have a lot of laws that they need to revisit and do some amendments. All right, well, Gracie, this is really messed up, and there's a lot of confusing laws in the Philippines, and we're very glad that you're here to shed some light on this particular article. So for you folks out there, just just do your due diligence and keep your shirt on. Keep your shirt on. Maybe tell that to your wives. But that's really unfortunate that we still have that law, and I hope it'll be repealed soon. And we'll have also equal rights, parallel law for men, abused men out there. Anyway, Gracie, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it. And it's always a pleasure talking to you. And obviously, we're going to see you again next time.
Sure, be anytime.
All right. Thanks. Bye.
Bye, P.
Now I'd like to take this time to clear something up. A little while ago, I did a video on the transsexual scene here in the Philippines. For some odd reason, I got quite a few questions asking if that means I'm transsexual myself. It's not that I'd be offended if someone honestly thought I was trans, which I'm not. It's the logic, or lack thereof, in asking the question that I find offensive. If I do a story on cam show girls, does that mean I'm a cam show girl myself? And since I did a video about call girls, I guess I'm one of those too? But oh well, I'm about to put the stupid questions to rest. And I have a person here tonight with impeccable credentials and honesty. I've asked Gracey to perform an examination and report her findings right here, right now. Whenever you're ready, Gracey.
Okay, let's have a look.
What the heck? Oh no.
What's this?
Oh my God. We're gonna need a bigger boat.
By the way, 100% female.
See? I told you.
Approaching Omicron standard orbit, Mr. Pater. Yes, sir.
Planet Omicron, Captain. Code 710.
Code 710 means under no circumstances are we to approach that planet. No circumstances whatsoever.
Omicron is home to a species of long-haired, tan-skinned, supposedly irresistible females called Filipinas.
Paradise. We're going in.
Captain, it might be prudent to first consult the video archives of the Filipina P to study their culture, their mating habits, and their propensity to separate men from their resources. Captain? Problems, Captain? Your visit lasted only 3.8 seconds.
A planet of traitors. Disloyal to the core. Rotten like the rest of you subhuman race.
You were conned. I did warn you, Jim. Now promise me you'll never fall for another what? Very wise, Captain. Preparing to leave orbit.
I can leave.
Captain's log, supplemental. The captain has inexplicably returned to the planet's surface. His final transmission was a hysterical, almost incoherent plea for millions of something called pesos.